Alright, welcome on in everyone to another episode of First CSP, the channel dedicated to bringing you the first council shoulder patch issued from each council in Scouting America, both past and present. Today we're going to take a look at Bluegrass 204 out of Kentucky. This council was formed in 1928 as a name change from Lexington 204. In previous collecting guides, the first issue T1 was divided into two variations, the T1A and T1B. We've got several examples to take a look at today, so let's head on over to the patch table. And actually what I've got here is a pair of the T1A and T1B. Thought we'd just start with both on the patch table. The T1A is listed as a gold border, dark red background, yellow fleur-de-lis, dark blue letters, and the T1B is listed as a gold border, dark red background, gold fleur-de-lis, dark blue letters. So the T1As are generally identified with a more yellow fleur-de-lis, and the T1Bs are identified with a more gold fleur-de-lis. They are very, very similar. You do see something of a brighter blue in the lettering and state outline for the T1A. We get a more kind of navy-ish, almost dark blue in the lettering for what's seen here for this example of the T1B. Now what it does seem is that I believe there were just multiple production runs of the first issue T1, and they came back with kind of slight variations in color, and so they did divide them into A and B, but I don't think that may be indicative of production order when we look at the additional examples that I have. We'll take these first two and flip them over. These are the older style, just gauze cloth back for this particular T1A, T1B. Here you can kind of see through the back almost a little better, but kind of more yellow, more gold on those fleur-de-lis. And I would almost say it doesn't quite come across as well on the camera here as in person. This looks more towards the yellow, and this does look more towards the gold. Now I will say, as is usually the case, the borders do match the fleur-de-lis pretty well, so this does look like a more yellow border. This does look like a more gold border. And then we've got a couple more examples of the T1, and I do think that these are potentially, again, examples that may be classified as a T1A. This does appear to be slightly more yellow, and T1B, that not 100% clear, but we do know that these are distinct from the previous ones. We do find the same lighter blue on what I believe to be would be a T1A, and kind of a darker blue. Obviously this may have some dirt, although it doesn't look particularly dirt, but this is a lot more dark on the background than any of the others. But this certainly appears more gold, this appears more yellow. These I would believe also may have been produced later though, because these are now plastic back examples. So obviously there were many production runs here of the T1s, and some of them are cloth back, some of them are plastic back, some of them have more yellowish fleur-de-lis, some of them have more gold fleur-de-lis. In the more recent collecting guide they have just, again, said there's variations within the T1, obviously because there was multiple production runs, and they've done away with the distinction between A and B, and we don't have any particular single council collectors that I know that have oriented the difference between these. I will also note that in the cloth backs, I guess all of these do appear to have white lock stitching. So you can see the white line here, white line. I wasn't sure if one maybe had yellow or gold lock stitching, but does not seem to be the case. So we do find Let's put up the two T1As. So here's a plastic back T1A at the bottom. Here is the cloth back at the top. Again, both of these end up seeming to be a bit more towards the yellow side. This is the most yellow, is the cloth back when looking at it in person. Both of these also appear to have kind of the brighter blue a little bit, whereas or I should say, the plastic backs have more dull blue. There's all of them together. So what I think are more yellow here at the top, what appear to be more gold are here at the bottom. Again, the distinctions end up being a little slight, but yeah, or I should say yellows are on the left. Plastic, this is cloth back, plastic back, and this is cloth back, plastic back of the golds. So we've got yellows to the left, golds to the right, just several variations. Now after that, the T2 was a completely different patch, so it's not going to be confused with the T1s. Similar design with the state at the center, but they went to blue and white, so a completely different orientation as far as the design. There you have the first issues for the Bluegrass Council 204 out of Kentucky. Hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. We'll be back again tomorrow with another brand new episode of First CSP. Thank you all for tuning in today. Until then, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.